listening to Hear the Chew Bubblegum, recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Greetings.
We come in peace.
Hey, my friend Cronkite, how are you doing this week?
Ish. We come in peace ish.
Why do you say ish? Why do you add that on here?
Sometimes you just get angry and you gotta.
But who are you?
Who
are you angry at?
I'm angry at you right now.
Why are you mad at me? I've not done anything to you.
You don't know that.
I heard that your housekeeper, you was mad at her. Her name was Rose, and you was going around making fun of her.
I wasn't making fun of her.
Yeah, you was.
No,
You actually did an impersonation of her because you looked at me a little bit earlier and you went, "We need more lemon pledge."
Is she an alien?
No, she's from Family Guy. Never mind.
We need more lemon pledge.
Yes, we need more lemon pledge.
No, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am hanging in there. The week's been a little bit busy. But I'm not complaining because it's good to stay busy.
Yeah.
The time just goes by faster.
Makes the day go by quicker.
Yes, definitely. I see you've got something that you're just itching to tell us about over there. What may that be?
Well, I sure am. I just want to remind everyone that on July 31st, the Pikeville Comic and Toy Con will be at the Appalachian Wireless Arena. And guess who will be there?
Me and you.
We certainly will, and we're going to be talking to everyone. Everyone?
Well,
maybe not everyone.
What if there's like an infant in there? They can't talk back.
They will talk back. No, we're going to be there, and we're going to be doing a couple shows, and
Yes.
we're going to be walking around talking to folks, kind of feeling out the lay of the land. I've been to these things a couple times, and they're always a great show. But that's the Pikeville Comic and Toy Con. It's going to be on July 31st at the Appalachian Wireless Arena. You can reach them at their website, PikevilleComicCon.net. They also have a Facebook page, or you can contact the e-store Comic and Tech Shop on Facebook or call 606-263-4946 for additional information.
That sounds great to me. I am looking forward to that. And before we move on to listener email, do you want to inform our listeners about our bad news segment?
Sure. So Goose and I have decided that to kind of spice things up a bit.
Yes.
If you have bad news that you want to present to someone, but you don't want to do it yourself, you want to do it in a comical,
serious way.
Maybe a little, serious way, maybe comical, maybe mean, maybe maybe you just don't like this person anymore.
What you're into.
You just don't want to. We're going to put it on the show, and we want everyone to let us do your bad news for you.
And
I'm excited.
By bad news, he means like if you're in high school and you want to break up with somebody, call us, email us, give us all the details. We will break the bad news to that person on the show. If you own a small business or a big business and you want to get rid of an employee, call us, email us, give us all the info, and we'll fire that person right here on the show.
Yes, I'm good at firing people.
And we're calling it the bad news segment. How can they do that?
Well, you can always call, text, or leave a voicemail at 606-373-3396. You can email us, goose@heretechewbubblegum.com, or myself, Cronkite, at heretechewbubblegum.com, or you can reach out to the Here to Chew Bubblegum at Yahoo email and just put bad news segment in the subject line.
Sounds good. We're going to start out with some listener email from Radio Listener. That's their username.
All righty.
Pink Floyd's perspective, there were only 3 types of people when we derive from animals. Sheep, dogs, or pigs. Which one are you and why?
I'm a dog.
I am too. Why?
I don't know.
I'm a dog because I'm fierce.
I'm a dog because
Because you have fleas.
Because I'm goofy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that all?
Yep.
All right, so Janet says, did you guys know that there is an enormous amount of space junk? We really need to create a business to clean up our enormous failed satellites. One piece of junk recently struck the Canadian ISS arm and caused it to malfunction. While there are about 2,000 active satellites orbiting the Earth at any moment, there are also 3,000 dead ones littering space. What's more, there are around 34,000 pieces of space junk bigger than 10 centimeters in size and millions of smaller pieces that could nonetheless prove disastrous if they hit something. A call out to Elon Musk to resolve.
Well, I knew that we had space junk up there. I did not know we had that much up there.
I had a feeling that there was quite a bit up there because you think we've been launching satellites since the 50s.
Yeah, well, probably prior to that we don't know about.
Sure. So, I mean, that's 70 years of
space junk.
Yeah, I mean, it's I always thought that they were supposed to once the satellites kind of decayed, they would burn up in the atmosphere or whatever.
That's what they were supposed to do.
But now they're just kind of chilling out up there,
just floating.
Yeah, so, I mean, that would be $1 billion industry for anybody who could figure it out. Let's figure it out.
Okay. How about we strap a rocket to your van?
Okay.
We drive up there.
Speaking of van,
yes.
Shameless plug here. If you need something delivered, Hurry Curry is your place to be. Hurry Curry delivers anything big or small. By the way, that's my company, and I have a small minivan. But you can always reach out to me, Hurry Curry at yahoo.com. That's Hurry, HURRYCOURY at yahoo.com.
Very catchy, my friend. Ratliff writes in, hey guys, what do you think the UAPs are? I have 3 theories. Time-traveling humans from the future, theory number 1. Number 2, extraterrestrials. Number 3, interdimensional beings. I discount your own governments due to the apparent extreme advanced technology displayed. Roswell.
I think it's all 3.
Yeah, it could definitely be a combination of all 3.
Because, I mean, some of the recent sightings, some of them have been shaped like unicorns, acorns, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they have.
Well, there's a story that I'm going to be doing on the next podcast about the Kecksburg object, which was shaped like a unicorn.
Right.
So, an acorn. A unicorn.
Like a
let me just get this off my chest. I seen something earlier today that made you think. Why are unicorns? Why are they fictional creatures and giraffes are real?
I don't know.
I mean, what's more plausible? A horse with a horn on it, or a moose camel thing with a 40-foot neck?
I'm going to go a moose camel thing with a 40-foot neck because I've actually saw that. Let me take that one step farther. What if dog actually spelled cat?
What do you mean?
What if the word dog actually spelled cat?
Well, then it wouldn't make sense.
Well, what if our alphabet was wrong?
Well, who would determine that?
I don't know.
Our alphabet can never be wrong because we made it. TJ says, great show last week, guys. I bet you're excited that we've made it to June. Let's hope the truth comes out. Roswell.
Yes, and we'll be talking about that in just a few moments. My last email is from B Movie Fan. Hello, Goose, Cronkite, Ned, and Elliot, new listener and first time writing in. I live close to your area. First, let me say that I really appreciate you guys and your show. I am a skeptic and non-believer in UFOs or aliens. I think the Navy videos are another country with advanced technology. What do you guys think it's possible?
It is possible. I don't think it's another country. I don't
think it's another country. So you think it could be us?
If it's terrestrial in origin, then I think yes, it could be us.
It's possible it could be us, but I don't think it's Russia. I don't think it's China.
I don't think so either.
I really don't think it's another country. I mean, I don't think it's us.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I would. It is either extraterrestrial, or it's us, because these things were recorded not far off of our coast, and if we had an inkling that it was another country, we would be losing our collective minds.
Right. But also, if it was this raised big enough attention years ago that if it was us, and I'm sure the right person would have heard about it, they might not have told him, hey, this is what this is, but they might have said, don't worry, we know what this is. This is us.
Right.
That never happened. That never happened. So
I don't know. I mean, it could be. I mean, it could seriously be research and development. If it is us, it could be research and development. Because I mean, even enlisted military members and pilots didn't know about the SR-71 when it was in development. You know,
you are correct there.
I have one more from Zeta. It says this is from Zeta. Says, hey, here to Chew Bubble Gum. What's everyone's opinion on what the government is supposed to disclose about UFOs. The deadline ends today. What do you guys think will come to light?
Yeah, well, as of right now, nothing has come to light.
No.
And I've got a little story on that. Actually, several little stories that we'll talk about here. A Pentagon spokesperson asked repeatedly about upcoming UAP report. MysteryWire.com reported the following article yesterday. With talk of the upcoming Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force reporting to Congress makes headlines. The assistant to the Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs forced not just one, but three questions. Faced not just one, but three questions. Unlike a news briefing held last week in the White House, these questions were not surrounded by laughter. Although the spokesman, John F. Kirby, did crack a smile when first asked about it by ABC News. Then CNN's Barbara Starr asked her question by saying, I hesitate to ask this, followed by a serious question about any assessment that the DOT could release today in regards to the UAP article. Here are some of John F. Kirby's, again, he's the assistant to the Secretary of Defense Public Affairs, some of his reactions when asked about the UAPs and UFOs reports yesterday. I would be getting ahead of the report that hasn't been submitted to Congress yet. And that's never a good idea for a spokesman in this town. So I don't think to get ahead of the report, and I refer you to the DNI. That's the Department of National, what is it? I knew what it was, the DNI, so to speak.
I'm not sure.
Department of National Intelligence. That's what it is. I am not going to get ahead of the report that this agency is not writing in response to a congressional mandate. I would refer you to the DNI for more detail about that. Let's see. He continued to say, we're participating in a DNI-led study, again, that is mandated by Congress. We're providing context and information that we have on this phenomenon. And our focus is, again, on supporting the DNI efforts to produce this report. That's whether our focus is and again. He said and a lot. That's our lane. That's our place to be, is to provide the kind of context that we have the information that we have to help the DNI produce this report for Congress. The report is due no later than June 25th, which could be released earlier if completed. Now, from what I understand, the June 25th deadline date is when it's supposed to be released to us, correct?
I think so, yeah. Okay.
Well, Senator Marco Rubio, who was asked by a TMZ reporter about the upcoming report, said that he is not sure they're going to be done and on time on the schedules that they've been given.
They had 180 days. How is that not enough time?
I don't know, but that sticks out a little bit odd to me that they don't know if they'll have the report ready in time or not.
Well, I mean, we knew it was going to happen. That we knew they were going to try to get out of it somehow.
Yeah, but I mean, why stretch it out? No, there's two possible reasons to stretch it out. The first one is there's something there that they want to prepare for, or, well, there's three reasons. Or the second one is they're getting ready for they could be getting ready for another global event like the pandemic we're coming out of.
Sure. And
number three, they could be behind on Project Bluebeam like you think that they could do.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it's stressful. Stop lying to us. Tell us what's out there. Tell us what's going on.
Definitely. Let me flip over to this other one here really quick because I thought this one was pretty fascinating. Now, this is a this is a new group. First Contact.
Yes.
Okay. First Contact is an alien hunting coalition from 27 countries that have been launched to prepare the world for extraterrestrial life. The International Coalition for Extraterrestrial Research, also known as ICER, has been set up as the Pentagon prepares to release a report detailing what the U.S. government knows about alien life. The vice president of this group is British ex-police officer Gary Helstein, who is also the editor of UFO Truth magazine. In a statement that accompanied a YouTube video announcing its foundation, ICER is said to be made up of scientists, academics, and leading UFO UAP researchers from across the globe. And we think it's time to start preparing for contact. That's why ICER is trying to build the foundations for a new reality. ICER is also creating an awareness program to help people prepare for this new reality. ICER wants to promote peaceful relations with these intelligence. This is a journey of discovery for mankind, a database of 500 UK sightings involving 1,100 cops dating back to 1901. Some cases are supported by video footage. He recently said that more people having spending time in gardens, parks, or the countryside in UK. This has caused the reports of alien craft and sightings to go up. The data too said this could be a hugely significant moment in the history of UFOs. So if you've got somebody that's an ex-police officer in Britain, and who knows what his country's leaders are doing, why would people be going ahead and trying to set something up like that if something is not going to be released?
That's true. That's very true.
You know, it definitely gives you something to think about.
Do you think obviously we're somewhat isolated from the rest of the world.
Yes.
But do you think that the information that gets into us as Americans, as citizens of the United States, is somewhat blocked off from the rest of the world? Do you think the rest of the world
yes.
may know?
Yeah.
May know
well,
that
I don't think that they know, but you can, and we've talked about Google and DuckDuckGo before.
Sure.
You can get on DuckDuckGo and search for stuff, and stuff will pop up on other countries. Like, from day one when we started doing this show together, I started searching for UFO sightings from other countries.
Yeah.
To see what some of theirs. There's some obstacles to overcome. Obviously, if they're in another language, you have to copy and paste whatever it is and then translate it.
Sure.
And, you have to work a little bit. You have to work a little bit to find this information. But there's other countries. Take like Russia, for example. In the, I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s, and we'll talk about this one on a podcast sometime. There was actually video footage that somebody had supposedly bought and sold to Fox that you see Russia soldiers from like I think late 60s, early 70s out at this crash site. Now, there's no sound in this, and it is color, but you can tell that it looks like it's 100% legit. Because I've watched it several times.
I've not seen that.
Yeah. And I'll have to look the name up of it, but I've got some stuff saved on it. We're going to talk about that sometime.
Okay.
But you really can't do that in like one podcast. This will be several shows. Like, when we had Roswell, we did several shows. You would have to do a couple of shows on this.
Sure. Well, I'm excited about that.
Oh, me too.
Well, I would love to see that footage. Do you,
it's on YouTube.
Okay.
So
I'll have to
I
look
will,
it up or send me a link or something.
I will show you that.
Okay.
You're going to talk about what, 5 strange universes?
Well, 5 strange theories about the universe. So outside of the common belief of, Big Bang Theory and all that. So there are 5 alternate theories as to maybe how the universe came to be. So it wants to know, why the universe is the way it is. Over the years, scientists have explored many ways to explain the cosmos, leading to some crazy-sounding ideas. Number 1 being the Big Splat.
The Big Splat.
In the far future, galaxies will eventually drift so far apart that the light from one can never reach another. In fact, as stars get old and die, there will come a time when there is no light or heat left. The universe will be a dark, cold, empty void. It seems like the end of everything. But according to one theory, it's actually the beginning of the next universe in an endlessly repeating cycle. Remember the brain world theory? What happens when one cold, empty brain collides with another, which, given enough time, is bound to happen. Cosmologist Neil Turek and Paul Steinhardt believe such a collision would create enough energy to create a whole new universe. They call this the ecliptic Yeah, I believe that's how you say it.
Okay.
Theory. One physicist, Michio Kaku, has more of a.
Man, you like getting those Japanese names.
They are sticking some big words in this
I
sentence.
I always like to read over mine.
Yeah, well, I did, and then I didn't read this last sentence. But basically, he says, it's basically called the Big Splat.
Yeah.
Number 2 is a holographic universe. Think of a security hologram. This is basically a 2-dimensional object encoding a full 3-dimensional image. According to the theory, the whole 3-dimensional universe may be encoded on its 2-dimensional boundary. It may not sound as exciting as living inside a simulation, but it has the advantage that it's a scientifically testable theory. Research in 2017 showed it was consistent with the observed pattern of CMB fluctuations.
Now, hologram, is this like Star Trek Next Generation, the holodeck, or?
I'm not exactly sure. I believe so, something similar.
Now, I would be up for that.
But now, here's the thing. We have the technology right now. Tupac did a concert a year ago or a couple years ago.
Well, I went to Vegas about 4 years ago and actually saw Michael Jackson perform.
Exactly.
Through a hologram.
I mean, the technology is here now. I mean, I don't think we projected our own universe unless we're in a simulation.
Right.
I don't know.
Unless we are in Project Bluebeam right now and don't know it.
Which would be living in a simulation.
That's yeah. I mean, it would be.
It's strange that somebody said something after 2012, everything didn't seem right anymore. I wonder if that's kind of when it all happened.
Who knows?
So number 3 is the steady state universe. The Big Bang is a evolutionary theory in which the universe changes its appearance as it expands. It was denser in the past, and it becomes less dense in the future. Not all scientists were happy with that, so they came up with a way for the density to remain constant. Even in an expanding universe, it involves the continuous creation of matter at the rate of about 3 hydrogen atoms per cubic meter per million years. This model fell out of favor with the discovery of the CMB, which it can't easily explain. The multiverse. Now, this one,
Now, I have heard of that one. I have studied that one some. That one confuses me and gives me a headache sometimes.
There's multiple universes.
Yeah, well, just how when they start explaining them, how if they interacted and yeah.
So in the conventional view of the Big Bang, in order to explain the uniformity of the CMB, it's necessary to postulate an early spurt of superfast expansion known as inflation. Some scientists believe that when our universe dropped out of its inflationary phase, it was just one tiny bubble in a vast sea of inflating space, in this theory called eternal inflation. Other bubble universes are constantly popping up in other parts of the inflationary sea, with the whole ensemble making up a multiverse. The theory gets even stranger because there's no reason for other universes should have the same laws of physics as ours. Some might have stronger gravity or a different speed of light. Although we can't observe the other universes directly, it's conceivable one of them could collide with our own. It's even been suggested the cold spot on the CMB is the imprint of such a collision. Now,
what was that? Allergies?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't hear that time.
Yeah, I didn't hear it that time.
But anyway, so I was reading an article a while back, it's been a couple months ago, that in Antarctica, supposedly there was an experiment. It was the Arctic or Antarctica. Probably Antarctica, since that's where all the crazy stuff happens. They're actually detected another universe, but they're supposedly somehow they figured out that their physics was completely backwards to ours. So like up is down and down is up.
Really?
Yeah.
See, thinking about that just hurts my head.
Yeah.
That just hurts my head. Definitely confuses me.
Now the 5th one is of course simulation theory.
Right. And we've talked about that on the podcast show.
We've beat this one to death. So I mean, do you want me to read it?
Sure.
So far, all of the theories have come from scientists, but here's one from the philosophers. If all our evidence about the universe comes into our brains via our senses and scientific instruments, who's to say it isn't a cleverly designed illusion? The entire universe may be nothing but an ultra-sophisticated computer simulation. It's an idea that was popularized by the Matrix movies. But as outlandish as it sounds, it's taken seriously by some philosophers. However, it fails the test of true scientific theory because there's no way it could be proved true or false. Now, I kind of like going back to the holographic universe and the simulation theory. I think if the simulation theory were to be true,
Right.
I think that it would have to be a outside source. Well, of course, it would have to be an outside source, but I mean,
Right.
the holographic universe kind of thing.
Right.
So these 5 and 2 are kind of, I would think, interlinked, right?
Yeah, definitely they are. We're going to take a break. We're going to have Elliot's articles, Roswell Part 2 coming up, and new Ned set, and then we'll come back in just a moment. What are they listening to, Cronkite?
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
We will conquer all the oceans you can name.
Yeah.
No, we won't take any blame.
Yeah, I ain't taking nothing.
We will conquer all the oceans you can name.
I take
No,
it.
we won't take
Yeah.
any blame.
Greetings.
We come in peace.
The City of Coal Run Village Mayor Andrew Scott and City Commissioners Beverly Joe Osborne, Big Joe Atkins, Trey Eskins, and Mike Steele encourage you to shop local.
With over 200 businesses, the City of Coal Run Village offers games, restaurants, gas, auto parts, cars, and much more.
You'll find all of this and more in the City of Coal Run Village. Shop local and shop often.
Researching the inner workings of the net to bring you stories of the strange and unusual. It's Elliot's Articles on Here to Chew Bubblegum. Take it away, Elliot.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you may be listening. Once again, this is Elliot with Elliot's Articles on the Here to Chew Bubblegum podcast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last week we talked about Roswell, and I looked at what many call the official timeline of what happened. But how has it been explained? I mean, surely there was an article in the newspaper that said the Army had captured a flying disc. That's pretty black and white, right? Well, the Army says no, that was actually mistaken, and today we're going to talk about a couple of different things that have happened since then. But before we get into that, dear listeners, I just want to get a little personal with you. For the last 4 or 5 nights, I've been waking up, going to sleep at a pretty normal time. I do have a regular job. And I've been waking up around in between 3 and 3:30 every night for whatever reason. It's not something I usually do. I've heard of the witching hour, and I've heard that 3 o'clock is about the time that paranormal events happen. So I'm just asking, has anybody out there been doing the same thing? Have you all had this recently? I hear a lot of people, especially chatter online, of people talking about, weird dreams and all waking up at the same time. So I put this question to you, dear listeners. Have you all been experiencing any of this? Let me know. Contact me at heretochewbubblegum@yahoo.com. Make sure you put Elliot in the subject line, and they will make sure that I get that message. Now let's talk about a little bit of Roswell once again. So as everybody knows, Roswell happened in 1947, but we didn't get a real official answer until 1994. We'd been told it was a weather balloon, but that story didn't, it didn't hold water. I'm a skeptic. I think I've said this before. I don't take UFO stories at face value. I think there is a terrestrial reasoning behind them. Now, am I saying that there's no such thing as aliens? Absolutely not. This universe is too huge. There has to be something out there. But I think a lot of the stuff that we see on Earth is probably got a earthly reason behind it. So I tend to skew that way when I talk about UFOs and aliens. When it comes to Roswell, I do not believe any of the official stories. My skepticism does not go towards the aliens. It actually goes towards the government. Because in 1994 they released an explanation saying that the Roswell crash was really something called Project Mogul. Now, Project Mogul was a device that was basically a high-altitude balloon that had microphones equipped all around it, and it was going to fly close to the USSR to detect sound waves at a stealth distance, okay? So it was basically out there monitoring if the Soviet Union was testing atomic bombs. Project Mogul, of course, if this was the case, you could understand why they needed to cover up its crash. But the thing that a lot of people don't understand is Project Mogul was pretty well known at the time. I mean, they had even discussed it openly. It was just under a different name. So Project Mogul, to me, doesn't really hold water, like I said. There's other elements of Roswell, too, that doesn't make sense. Eyewitnesses claim to have saw small gray bodies. And, of course, the government, in a follow-up report to their 1994 report, said that these were actually parachute test dummies that had been sent along with that balloon. Again, why, if you are trying to monitor atomic bombs in Russia, would you need parachute test dummies? So it seems like the government is contradicting their own story there. It's very covert, and I understand that. But to say that, oh yes, this was a balloon that was monitoring, the Soviet Union and their use of atomic bombs, that we just happened to put, parachute test dummies in, does not make sense. It's also been floated out there that maybe this was some sort of ship sent by Russia, sent by Joseph Stalin to induce panic in America. It's been said that there were maybe even children who were deformed that were put inside this, and it was crashed on purpose. Again, we've already been through so much in history with Russia, and so much has already been declassified. You would think that if this was the case, the American government would want that story out there. It's not, of course. So again, I don't believe this. Now, like I said, it's kind of I'm very skeptical. I know that Jesse Marcel Jr. said that his dad, when he brought the metallic material in, that it had what he thought was Egyptian hieroglyphics on it. And some people will point to that and say, well, that was really, the Russian alphabet, the Cyrillic alphabet. But it just doesn't, it doesn't pass the smell test with me. I don't really think the Russians had anything to do with it. Now, with that said, here's the other thing that I think of when I think about Roswell. There was so much going on in that area. Los Alamos was very, very close. They were testing V2 rockets at White Sands, which also was pretty close. As I mentioned earlier, the group at Roswell Air Force Base, that was pretty much a nuclear Air Force base. They were involved, the 509th Bomb Group were actually involved in the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And it doesn't make sense for the government to say, here are these things, these are balloons, put in the paper, these are a flying disc or whatever. You don't really want to draw attention to that, to that group of people. So the Roswell case, to me, out of all the UFO cases, besides maybe Rendlesham Forest, which I hope to cover one day, But out of all of the UFO cases that I've ever, had looked at or watched or read about or listened to, Roswell is the one that I think probably has the best chance of being real. I think there's just so much that the government would not want to be out there that is. And I just think that out of all of them, it has the biggest chance of being correct. Before I go, we had a listener, I think, write in. If I'm mistaken by that, please, Goose, let the listeners know. But the person wanted to know what got each of us, that would be Goose, Cronkite, Ned, and myself, into the paranormal, or what we're into now. And looking back on it, I think the biggest thing that led me down the path, so to say, was the movie Ghostbusters. Absolutely my number one favorite movie of all time. It's to this day, if it's on television or if I pass it by, I have to sit down and watch it. It's just my favorite thing in the world. So yeah, Ghostbusters. I think that's the biggest one for me. So with that being said, dear listeners, please keep your suggestions for topics coming. Please email me, talk to me. I would love to have an open dialogue with you guys. I want to talk about what you want to listen to. So please let me know, as much as you can. Also, really looking forward. We've talked about a roundtable show. I know some listeners have looked forward to that. And hopefully I'll get to be in the studio with Goose and Cronkite and Ned and maybe some other guests, and we can talk about different things. So yeah, if you've been experiencing weird things, like I mentioned at the beginning of the article, please contact me. Let me know. Let's talk about it. Contact Goose, contact Cronkite, let them know. If you've got any kind of topic you want me to discuss, contact me. Let me know at heretechewbubblegum@yahoo.com. Make sure you put "Attention Elliot" in the subject line. They'll make sure I get the message. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you all have had a great weekend, weekday, whatever time you're listening. Stay vigilant. Keep watching. Elliot out.
It's now time for Ned Said on Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Why do people say tuna fish and not beef mammal or chicken bird?
You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum. 606-373-3396. You can also send an email to goose@heretochewbubblegum.com or cronkite@heretochewbubblegum.com.
Hey folks, it's the Creepy Kentuckian from Dead Pit Radio. And when I'm just sitting around needing something to listen to, I'm checking out Here to Chew Bubblegum.
I never meant to be so bad to you. And yet I said I would never do. A look from you and I would fall from grace. And I would wipe the smile right from my face.
And welcome back. Our buddies over at deadpit.com, CK and Uncle Bill, providing us with our music, their version of In the Heat of the Moment. So you're going to start out by telling us about some celebrities that are aliens, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Now, who are these celebrities? I bet that Tom Cruise is one.
Huh. Have you read ahead?
No, I've not. I'm just...
So I have 22 celebrities that supposedly are aliens.
Okay.
Number 22 is, no surprise here, Elon Musk.
Really?
Yep. It says there's a lot to be said about Elon Musk, and some might even go as far as claiming he's an alien. Their evidence, why is he so obsessed with going to space? Perhaps for him, it's a homecoming. Musk even claims that perhaps aliens already live among us.
Well, that's all right.
Number 21, Gary Busey.
Now, that I believe 100%.
Gary Busey tweeted, 5 parts of my brain contain alien power on the intergalactic highway of existence. Number 20 is Richard Branson.
Now, who is that? What's that guy been in?
He is the guy that he owns Virgin Galactic, the airline and the space company.
Okay.
The billionaire is fascinated by space and has a space flight company known for his pranks. Richard Branson once made a hot air balloon look like a UFO and land in a field outside of London. He even tweeted about meeting aliens during his visits to space. I've been to space 4 times and impressed aliens by telling them I'd been to Earth 5 times.
Okay. Well.
So it says some people got so suspicious they wrote an article about Branson's home planet being Zolthar. Interesting. Number 19 is Stephen Colbert. The talk show host has commented on pop culture and politics this year for years. That's typical of the job, but some considered it to his ploy to learn about humans. Comedian Louis C.K. went on the Tonight Show to explain his wild theory to Stephen Colbert. No, you were like an alien who studied human behavior and got close but didn't quite get there, he said about Colbert going from a very weird-looking dude to a popular late-night host on a big network. Colbert responded, "You're describing a sociopath. Like I could murder you and my heart rate wouldn't go up." But the stand-up comedian clarified he thinks he is the next version of human.
Well, okay.
Number 18, Nicolas Cage. Now this one, he's not an alien. They claim that he's a vampire.
Okay. Well, and I've saw that picture on the internet from the 1800s, and
yes, I mean it does look like him.
They do look similar, but their ears look totally different.
I don't know. Anyway, number 17, of course, Tom Cruise.
Oh, see, I was right.
Not only does this action star involve aliens in many of his movies, but Tom Cruise actually makes a strong case for being an alien himself. As an outspoken follower of Scientology, he believes that humans descended from some sort of alien, which would make us all aliens, right? That's
I guess.
Kind of creepy.
Yeah. That's very creepy.
Mark Zuckerberg, he kind of looks like an alien.
Yes, he does.
The conspiracies about rich and famous aliens have gotten so rampant that even Mark Zuckerberg has been targeted. Some folks believe that he might be a reptilian, a sort of lizard alien. They point fingers towards his interest in ancient and obscure history. Someone even asked him during a live chat if he was a reptilian alien. Madonna is number 15.
Okay.
And number 14 is Marilyn Manson.
Okay. Now, he's just weird, man. I mean, and it seems like the older he gets, the weirder he gets.
Certainly.
And I've never been a fan of his music. And I've never been a fan of Rob Zombie's music either.
Really? I kind of dig Rob Zombie.
I don't like the music. I like some of his original movies that he comes up with himself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Halloween movies that he's redid. Now, but I will say that the first Halloween that he redid, the first part was his own original work. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But then the second half was like, a shot by, the same story from the original Halloween, just sped up.
Right. I don't know. I do not like Marilyn Manson's music, but I do like Rob Zombie's music. As far as I'm not really a big fan of horror movies,
right,
but I will sit down and watch a Rob Zombie movie.
Right.
Keanu Reeves is number 13.
Okay. Now, no, he's too nice of a guy.
Well, yeah, I mean he's a nice guy, but name one human that's ever been that nice.
Abraham Lincoln.
No. Every time I shave, it makes me think I may be immortal. Look, like Nicolas Cage and Keanu Reeves. 1875,
now,
1994, and 2008.
Well, and
he doesn't age.
And I'll give you that.
He's like Dick Clark.
So.
All right, so number 12 is Michael Jackson.
You do realize Dick Clark is no longer with us, right?
Yeah, he didn't age.
Okay.
He turned a certain age, and then he stayed that age until he died.
Okay.
So number 12 was Michael Jackson. The entertainment industry considers Michael Jackson to have been one of the most talented performers ever, but he is also one of the most unique, so it's no surprise that even Weird Al Yankovic compared meeting Jackson to an alien encounter. Yankovic says he's super nice, very soft-spoken, but it's not like you're meeting a human, and I don't mean this in a bad way. It's sort of like he was so bigger than life, he was so iconic, it's almost like you're meeting an alien or you're meeting like a statue of from Madame Tussauds.
Okay.
You can't possibly be real. Strange. Tilda Swinton. Now, I'm not sure who this is. The actress can transform into pretty much anything. The proof is in these eerie pictures. That's probably why Tilda Swinton is another celebrity who's considered odd and alien-like. According to Complex, she has many alien-like qualities, including extremely wide-set eyes, a triangular face, narrow lips, and a pale, androgynous physique. Number 10, Anderson Cooper. He kind of looks alien-like.
Yeah.
Number 9, Lady Gaga.
I believe that.
Yes. Number 8 is David Bowie.
I believe that.
Okay. Number 7, David Blaine.
It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, well, it says that the popular magician pulls off wild stunts like burping up frogs, getting buried alive, and being encased in a block of ice for hours.
Did he really burp a frog up?
That's what it says.
Okay.
Number 6, Prince. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. And the top 5.
Okay.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
I have no clue who that is.
Oh, you do. I'm sure you do.
Who? Is that the... I have no idea.
This is James.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yep. James Corden accused Benedict Cumberbatch of not only being human, or not only not being human. I believe that there are aliens, he said on Bang Showbiz. There are people that you look at and go, I don't know if they're going to do that. And then there are people who are always representing the audience. He then later said Benedict is an alien and I'm human. So Benedict Cumberbatch, you know this guy.
Okay, yeah, I've saw him. And
He
stuff.
was in the
and he actually does look like an alien.
yeah, and so he was in the Avengers movie.
Okay,
And then I think he was in one of the new Star Trek movies. And somewhere else.
that's old man Cumberbatch's boy.
Sure is.
Yes.
Carl Lagerfeld.
Okay.
I'm probably saying that name wrong. So it says the style icon is so unique that he's categorized as an alien too, mostly for how he dresses. Well, Lord, Lorde.
Okay.
I am an adult baby alien who has descended to Earth, and my eyebrow and baby hair game is going something like this. Took a picture on Twitter. Justin Bieber, I think he's just a stupid human.
Yeah,
I don't think he's an alien.
He's a kid.
Yeah. And number 1, Nicki Minaj.
Really. I don't. I'm not really into her music either, but I know who she is.
It says she's It says there was a video that was she convinces she wasn't human, that there was a video made of her eyes shape-shifting back in 2012.
I actually saw that video.
And that itself is a dedicated conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I've actually saw that. Because her eyes, like ours, how human eyes are. Mm-hmm. And then she blinks, and then it's like they slant like cat eyes, and then she blinks again, and it's back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw that video.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, I watched it a few times.
And that's all I've got for you on that one.
Okay. Do you want to, let's do our question of the week responses.
Sure.
This is something that we did on the podcast show. We've not done it in a while. We will bring it back to the podcast show. We started last week doing it on our radio shows. Okay. And last week's question of the week was, do you think the government will truly disclose the existence of UFOs, UAPs in June? And Dixon09, fan of the show, hello Dixon, says, I hope they will. My fingers are crossed, but I'm not holding my breath. Good call, Dixon.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. You'll probably pass out.
Yes, you would.
Nikki says, no, I don't believe anything the government says. It's a good stance.
I agree. Trent says, nope, they've got nothing to gain.
Stanman says, if you think they will, I've got some beachfront property in Prestonsburg for sale.
Well, I'm actually in the market for some beachfront property in Prestonsburg. Yeah. Benjamin says, sadly, no, I don't.
Unknown says, hey, Goose and Cronkite, I don't think they will admit anything. I think a lot is tied to UFOs. If they say yes, they may inadvertently spill the beans on other secrets kept.
Now that's actually a really good response. I'd never thought about that, but think about that for a second. If they do say yes, they exist, you've got the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah.
That could be tied to it.
Sure.
You've got the Marilyn Monroe suicide that could be tied to it.
Yes.
And those are just two of the things off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. You've got the guy, I can't think of his name, but he was supposed to be in Project MK Ultra that jumped out of the window and killed himself, supposedly.
Right. That was
he was
General.
like, yeah. Yeah, I can't think of the name either. But
Was it General Byrd?
yeah, no,
He didn't.
no.
He wasn't.
No,
couldn't
it
have
wasn't
done that.
Bird. Bird was the one that went to Antarctica.
Yeah.
But you got that guy that's supposedly over it and was going to let everything out.
Right.
And but that's really good. I've not thought about that. If they did let that out, that might let other secrets out.
That's true.
And who was that one from, that comment?
That one was from Unknown.
Good job, Unknown. Shane H. says, yes, they are too many sightings for them to explain. If they don't, I bet Project Bluebeam will happen soon.
Sure. Ron says, yes, I think they will. It's time for the truth, and they know we can handle it. No, we can't handle it because we collectively as humans are stupid. Last year, they said, hey, there's a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing people did?
They went out and they bought all the toilet paper.
Why?
So
Why?
Well, I don't know.
Collectively, as people, we
I
are
don't know.
stupid.
Well, speak for yourselves.
As a species,
well, first,
we cannot.
Okay, now I will give you that. But anybody that listens to our show,
Oh no, yes.
they are not stupid.
No, not at all.
They are well educated.
Here's
they
the
can
thing.
make decisions for themselves and learn for themselves.
Are you done sucking up?
No, I'm not sucking up.
Listen,
I'm just telling it
here's
how
the
it
thing.
is.
Here's the thing: the people that listen to our show
Uh-huh.
are different than
Yes, they are.
other people because they themselves have an open mind. They're
Right.
actively seeking the truth.
Right. I get where you're coming from there. Who was the scientist that worked for NASA? I can't think of his name. He said, and we've talked about it on the show before, he made publicly known that he even said, if the world knew half of what we knew, and I'm paraphrasing here, they wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Sure.
You know, I can't, I think Dr. Paul Hertz was his name. But he actually made that comment before, and the comment again was, if people knew half of what we knew, they wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
But now, also going back to my comment about people being stupid, it's not their fault. We have been spoon-fed information, disinformation for generations. It's yes, probably if when all this started happening, they would have eased us into it.
Right.
It would be a non-issue, but because you have so much BS being shoved down the throats of people who don't understand anything.
Right.
I'm really tearing these people up, but
You're fine.
no, I mean, but it's not their fault. When you think about it, it's not their fault. They've had so much disinformation, and their priorities are in line. They're always on, people with their phones in their faces, social media. The news are lying to them. Everybody is just throwing out anything. They're throwing out so much BS that something will eventually stick, and people just tune out. They're blissfully
people buy
ignorant.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Well, again, we want to thank everyone that responded to our question of the week. Our new question of the week is, and I like this one, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? And you can always call, text, or leave a voicemail by calling 606-373-3396, or you can email Goose at heretochewbubblegum.com, or my friend Cronkite at heretochewbubblegum.com. You can also email heretochewbubblegum at yahoo.com. Again, the question of the week this week is, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? I would like the ability to fly. What about you?
Well, I was going to say that, but now since you took it, I think I'm going to say invisibility.
There you go.
All right.
And you've got one more thing to tell us about here, correct?
I sure do. I've got parallel universes. So
Okay.
we were talking about the alternate theories of universes. Now we're going to talk about parallel universes.
Sounds good. We've got about right at 6, maybe 6.5 minutes left. So
No pressure. All right. Number one, infinite universes. We don't know what shape of space or time is exactly, but one prominent theory is that it is flat and goes on forever. This would present the possibility of many universes being out there. But with that topic in mind, it's possible the universes can start repeating themselves. That's because particles can only be put together in so many ways. More about that in a moment.
Okay.
Bubble universes. Another theory of multiple universes comes on eternal inflation, which we spoke about eternal inflation a bit ago. So since we're limited on time, I'm going to skip over that one.
right.
Number 3 is daughter universes, or perhaps multiple universes can follow the theory of quantum mechanics, how subatomic particles behave. As part of the daughter universe theory, If you follow the laws of probability, it suggests that for every outcome that you could come from one of your decisions, there will be a range of universes, each of which saw one outcome come to be. So in one universe, you took that job to China, and another, perhaps you were on your way and your plane landed somewhere different, and you decided to stay, and so on. Number 4 is mathematical universes. Another possible avenue is exploring mathematical universes, which, simply put, explain the structures of mathematics may change depending in which universe you.
Now, I would totally get lost in math world.
Yeah.
I was terrible in math.
2 plus 2, go.
4.
8 plus 9.
What is it? See, I could have done it if you hadn't looked at me and started doing that. So 17.
Attaboy.
So
10 plus 12.
20. 10 plus 12.
Yep.
Is 24. No, 22.
Attaboy.
See,
Parallel universes.
I can't do it on the spot like that.
And last but not least, as the idea of parallel universes, going back to the idea that space and time is flat, the number of possible particle configurations in multiple universes will be limited to, I don't know how to say that, but 10 with an arrow, 10 with an arrow up, 122 distinct possibility.
Okay.
That's a big number, I guess.
A big number universe.
Yep, to be exact. So with an infinite number of cosmic patches, the particle arrangements within them must repeat infinitely many times over. This means there are infinitely many parallel universes, cosmic patches exactly the same as ours, containing someone exactly like you, as well as patches that differ by just one particle's position, patches that differ by two particles' positions, and so on down the patches that are totally different from ours. Whew, that's a lot.
Now, let me ask you a question. If you could go to a parallel universe, would you go to that parallel universe?
If I had a way to get back, yes.
Well,
are you talking about just a visit, or are you talking about going there and staying?
If you could go there, you don't know if you could get back, but the opportunity's there. The world appears just like our universe. Would you go there?
No.
Why?
Well, I mean, the whole point of going somewhere else is to come back and enjoy the experience. If I'm going to go there and live the experience forever,
right,
there's no point in it.
But if you knew you could come back, you would go.
If I knew I could come back, yes.
I don't know what I would do in that situation if I was just stuck like that. I may be able to do it. I'm not really sure.
Because keep in mind that other universe, there's going to be another you running around.
Right. Well, but you don't have to run into them.
Right, but I mean, you're going to have the
maybe the other universe is different than this one. Maybe Cronkite is vice president of the United States in the other universe.
Then I'll kill the other Cronkite.
Why?
Take his spot. That's how.
Well, you could just put in as a body double. You could pay big money.
No, thank you.
Why? You wouldn't want to do that?
I want to be the main guy.
Main guy.
The only Cronkite.
Okay.
And then I would go to another dimension, kill that Cronkite.
Okay. Well, that'll work. You want to tell us about the Pikeville Comic and Toy Con again?
Sure do. July 31st at the Appalachian Wireless Arena, the Pikeville Comic and Toy Con is coming to town, and we're going to be there.
Yes, we are.
We're going to be doing a couple shows and walking around and talking to a few people. You can visit them on their website, pikevillecomiccon.net. They also have a Facebook page, or you can contact the eStore Comic and Tech Shop on their Facebook page, or call 606-263-4946 for additional information.
Sounds good to me. Before we go, I want to say special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work, CK Uncle Bill and the rest of the gang over at deadpit.com, Justin Perkins of Talk Junkie. Be sure to check out Down on the Holler with Jordan and Brad, and a new one this week that I've recently heard, Seth's Podcast. And you can find it on YouTube, and I think he's also on Spotify.
You said what now?
Seth's, SETH''S.
Gotcha.
Daily podcast. Also, don't forget about the Spooky Family podcast debuting on July 1st. For more information, visit spookyfamilypodcast.com. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week, and until then, so long for now.
We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.